All right, welcome to another episode of 4G Sports. All right, and as you can see, the King is not here today. He's not feeling well, so get better, my brother. But the show must go on, and we're gonna have a great show. So let's get right into it. I almost forgot. This episode is brought to you by My Cozy Creations and Daphne Cozy. All right, and now let's get into it. I am the OG.
You know what it is. You got the Doc.
All right, and not replacing the King, but this is our guest, so we're gonna let him sit in and we're gonna let him take the King's spot just for this segment.
Just a little.
Go ahead, Riley. Please explain who you are so we can get right into the show.
What's up, everybody? Pleasure to be here. I'm Riley Demps. I'm a basketball player. I play at NYU. I'm a junior guard. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I had the pleasure of meeting Doc at UBPI brachial plexus camp, where his son and me share an injury that we've had our whole lives. And so we got to know each other, and now we're here. So happy to be here.
That's what it
is.
is.
All right. So, Doc, we talked about the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the Browns with the King. So, Riley, who is your football team? And let's talk about what you think they should do during the draft.
See, my team is the New Orleans Saints. I'm from New Orleans, like to death. Like no matter what, black and gold, I'm bleeding it. For the draft, we just signed Jameis to a quick deal. I think it'd be in our best interest to get another quarterback because like Jameis has a history of being a little turnover prone. I know he got his eyes fixed. He got his eyes fixed. He got the Visine. He got not the Visine. The whatever
surgery.
That too.
LASIK.
Yeah.
LASIK. He got LASIK surgery over the summer, so hopefully he can see the receivers a little bit better. So I think we're gonna be all right. It's gonna be tough in the post-Drew era, but I want us to shore up our quarterback position. I think I have somebody in the back just in case something goes wrong. I love Taysom, but I think he's more of a running back. But I think we're gonna be all right. We got a good culture. I think the draft's not too important for us. I don't think we have a bunch of things we need to do. We usually operate better in free agency. But I think we're gonna be all right.
All right. Well, I mean, the only thing I can say about your squad is that I don't know if the NFL or the refs have it out against you guys, but you have some of the worst calls in NFL history during the playoffs.
No,
I don't know why. We're gonna get into that because I see I brought your spirits down, and I apologize.
No,
the pain is real.
There's some trauma deep in my soul. I see I can't even look at a zebra. Like I see a zebra. my Saints. Man, I remember I was on my couch watching that pass get thrown, and I was just silent. I was silent probably for 2 days straight. I couldn't even think about it. I mean, last year was our fault. This past year was our fault, but we missed so many years because of bad calls, like 4 years in a row of like our season ending on a crazy call that they apologized for 2 weeks later. So
that was. I mean, the blind man saw that was pass interference. Right, saved apologies.
That's ridiculous. Well, I think the Saints have pick 28, right?
Yeah.
I think when you're picking almost in the second round, when you're already a good team, you're picking late. It's hard to sit and say, well, we need help here. You really just have to say who's the best left on the board and go with it, right? Whether that's a linebacker, a lineman, or a halfback. There's a lot of talk that Najee Harris is going to end up still being available at that point.
Like if Najee's there.
Right. I mean, could you imagine Harris and Kamara? I mean, that 1-2 combo would be nasty.
No,
you don't have to worry about Jameis pushing the ball downfield when you got those two backs.
Let him do it.
Now, you can't worry about Jameis stealing crab legs.
It's just like in general, like we're a good team, and it's just like, and the NFL isn't like the NBA where like the best players are all in the top 10, and then there's like a couple sleepers. Like NFL, like you could have a guy that's making an impact in the 4th round. So like,
yeah,
like a lot of times it's just like get the best guy you think is going to be able to do something.
That's just it, man. There's this 6th round quarterback. I don't know if you know his name, but he's got 7 championships.
Yeah.
You know, but that just, you know, that goes to your point. Like these guys going into the NFL are meant to be there. They're worth being there. And you get the right guy with the right motor, no matter what round, and he's going to make an impact. And we've seen it year after year after year. Sometimes those top 10s just wash, you know, anyway. So I think the Saints are going to be okay. It's going to be hard after Drew Brees. I mean, Drew Brees has been the pillar of that entire franchise for a long time, you know, and brought them that Super Bowl after Hurricane Katrina, like in a storybook ending mode. So it's going to be tough moving on from that point, but I think they're going to be fine. I mean, Sean Payton is still at the helm. So, you know.
I mean, like, it's like Drew has, at this point, he's transcended football for City. It's like he's a celebrity. He could walk into anywhere, and it's like he's the second coming. Like they took down Lee Circle a while ago, and a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Bree Circle. And
okay.
Over there, so that's like one of the biggest monuments in New Orleans, and to throw him on top really says like what for us, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
One thing I can say about the Saints fans, you guys travel very well because I'm in Atlanta, so you already know about that Atlanta-New Orleans rivalry. But when they come to Atlanta, it's like a sea of black and gold takes over a city, and it's funny to be here and know when the Saints are in town because that's all you see. And it's ridiculous. And I know Falcons fans do travel, but they don't travel like y'all.
No,
y'all travel deep, and y'all travel to have a party.
And we're gonna travel to Atlanta for sure. Like that's
we're
gonna go there.
Like, you definitely come in here to show out every time.
That is happening.
I have to give y'all credit.
That sounds like they're a little bit like the Raiders then, right? Because the Raiders travel deep too. Fan base.
You know what? That might have to be one of your trivia questions, Doc.
Oh yeah. Hey,
what fan base travels the best?
Let me write that down. I'll make sure you get credit for that one.
No, I don't want credit. I'm just saying. It's, you know what? I'm not going to talk about the Cowboys because we have the 10th pick. If we don't get a lineman or a corner, then really I want an offensive lineman to protect our investment, and then you go defense all the way out. So that's the best I can say about my squad.
I mean, one of the top linemen in the draft are supposed to be there too.
I hope so. I'd rather have Slater from Northwestern.
So before we get into the trivia, I want to touch on the Cardinals because
go ahead.
This didn't come up in the episode we did where we did actually kind of talk about the Cardinals. They're trying to move up to go get Pitts. Now, if you throw that kind of tight end in an offense with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, that they're going to be a problem.
Give them time, and that's going to be the next big team. Like, that's what I've been telling everybody. That's going to be because Kyler is special. Kyler's special.
He is. Yeah, and after having seen him, just seen him play, I'm like, oh yeah, this kid has it. Like he has that it.
Yeah, you don't know what it is, but
right.
But you
got it.
All right, Doc. You know what time it is.
Trivia time. Let's go.
There you go. It's time for Doc's Trivia Corner. All right, Doc, take it away.
All right, check it out. All right, first there he is. What's like an 80s game show, I gotta tell you. All right, so the first one, I'm gonna answer last week's question. And that way the winners know who they were, are, or could be. So this one, I'll do a brief pause. You two are free to answer this one. The second one, just soak it in. If you have the answer, don't say it, because that is the one we allow people to answer in the live chat during the premiere. So the first one that we will answer here today, what do you call it when a player makes 3 back-to-back-to-back strikes in bowling?
Oh,
Right. Yes, Riley. You, sir, in the front.
Turkey.
Yes. A gobble, gobble. Oh. Gobble turkey. It is a turkey. So for anybody that played and won, we appreciate you playing along. Go ahead and claim your prize. You know, My Cozy Creations. They got the swag. You can get a mask.
All of it.
Get the shirts. I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to get a little Scully. I tell you what, man, you give me a 4G Scully, I'll probably never take that thing off because otherwise I'm going to be walking around here like OG just shining. You know what I mean?
Hey!
Now, this question is the one we will not answer here, but if you know the answer, keep it in your head.
All right.
What is the only team in the NFL in the current modern Super Bowl era to neither host a Super Bowl or play in one?
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
How modern are we talking? The last 25 years?
Yes, since before so you know it transitioned from World Championship football, right?
Okay.
To actual Super Bowl. So from the moment the Super Bowl began.
All right.
So you know we're 50 plus years in now. We got the Miami Dolphins. We got B, my Arizona Cardinals. We got C, the Cleveland Browns. Or we have D, the Dallas Cowboys.
That's why I asked that question.
You know. All right. So as I said, you can answer this question in the premiere during the live chat. We'll catch it. You can claim your prize, man. I appreciate y'all for playing Doc's Trivia Corner.
Yep. All right. So Riley already introduced himself. Doc, let's go right into it. Let's hit him with the questions, my brother.
Okay, let's get into it, Riley. You ready?
I'm ready to go.
First off, before I get into the question, I want to tell you, bro, I appreciate you being here, man. Like we met in probably 5 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And ever since then, you've been such a tremendous influence, even from a distance, on my boy, my son, my little warrior, and pushing through, doing his thing just like you do your thing. All right. So I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're on here for real.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So tell us, as an NYU baller, what's a typical day look like for you when you're dealing with basketball and academics and everything in between?
All right, so I'm gonna take you pre-COVID because like the COVID days are a little more boring. But, so one thing about me is I am the first basketball player in our program ever to be in the engineering department, and so my schedule was always a little more intense than I say the sports management. Love my sports management guys, but I was doing a little bit more. So
yeah.
So another thing about NYU is that our engineering school is in Brooklyn and our gym is in Manhattan, and so that's a 45-minute commute. That's a 45-minute commute, and I live in Manhattan, so I'd wake up around 7 a.m. Go to the engineering school in Brooklyn, go out there and I'd study, have class till like 9. Get out of class, got to get a lift in. So then I'll lift up at Tandon from like 9 to 11. Get out, get some shots up from like 11 to 12. Practice start at like 12:30. We'll practice from like 12:30 to 3:30. Then we'll watch film from about 3:30 to 5. And then we'll have our team lift, but like it's more of like a lighter lift like right after that. So that'll take me to like 7. And then I'll have one more class in Brooklyn. So I'll go back to Brooklyn and I'll be there from 8 to 9:30, get back home at 10, homework, rinse and repeat. And that was the day.
That's talk about having to have the Mamba mentality, man.
Boy.
It was always weird to me that I never realized how much time like I spent commuting, because I was like, geez, like I spend like almost like 3-4 hours a day just on a subway, like going back and forth, like trying.
I was gonna ask if that's how you. Yeah, I was gonna ask if that's how you went.
And so that's one thing that's very different from going to like another school that's like more in a college campus type place where you're in the middle. Whereas here you're in the middle of the city, like you got to grow up quick because you're you're walking around with everybody else. So yeah, that's what I'd say. That's probably our typical life.
All right.
That is busy.
Well, that's a hell of a schedule. So since you brought that up, I guess since COVID, you don't have to travel as much because you're doing everything online.
Right. Yeah. No. Honestly, like COVID has opened up my schedule like more than anything. Like, I'm catching up on sleep I didn't even know I needed. But it's made it easy. It's made it easier with not having class. Not having class, so I have to go actually to Brooklyn. So that's taking a lot of time out of mine. Being able to like be flexible, take class in a coffee shop or whatever is real nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So being in New York, you guys still online mostly?
Yeah, we're online. We're online completely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, were you looking at any HBCUs prior to choosing NYC?
I was not. I was not.
For real?
No, I actually really wanted to go to an HBCU. It was like my dream was to go to an HBCU. It was like I wanted to go to Jackson State, and that was the school I wanted to be at. All my friends had been there. I knew a bunch of people there. But hey, it's all about if the coach wants you. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the day.
Okay, well that answers the second part of that question. How did you come to that decision? So we'll go on to the next.
sounds like recruitment.
I didn't mean to cut you off with the timing on the screen.
Yes, sounds like recruitment made that decision for you, huh?
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's a tough process anyway, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has to.
And it was funny because I was like coming out of high school, like I was very highly recruited. Like I had offers to a lot of schools that where other people would say are quote unquote better than HBCUs. They're not really, but they're not really. But like I had offers to Auburn, I had offers to like big time schools and things like that. Just the HBCUs just weren't one of them. And even though I wanted it, it wasn't there. That's just part of it.
All right. So with those other offers, what made you pick NYU? Was it because of the academic part of it, but was it also because of the scholarships and the?
Well, for me, like I've always been a person that didn't want to be a one-trick pony. You know, I love basketball. Okay. I love basketball so much, but I wanted to be able to push myself academically, and I have like a real dream of being an engineer and inventing something. Like actually back in high school, like I have BPI, and so like I really wanted to be able to invent like some type of like biotic engineering, like something that could be used for those people that could make their lives a little bit easier. I know like a lot of kids have trouble buttoning their clothes and things like that. I wanted to do something bigger than basketball, and so with that, going to NYU is the best option because they were going to give me like the best education while still giving me a good basketball avenue, so I could do both.
All right.
I believe he's gonna do it too, OG. I gotta tell you, I mean, having met Riley, he's a special young man. I can see it happening, and the kids. I mean, there's definitely a need out there. Like as Riley knows, you know, even as a parent, I'm constantly looking at just something to help Travis based off of his limitations. I mean, one of the things that's always been interesting to me is something we do daily that you don't really think is difficult is like Travis will at this point can't spread peanut butter on a slice of bread. You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna work. It'll fly all over the place because peanut butter sticks. So it's like
little things, and it's like it's the things that like you don't think about. It's like it's the buttoning the shirt. It's like the opening the door. It's the sometimes I know a lot of kids have trouble with car doors because they can't get their fingers into the middle of it. Like there's a lot of little things that like you don't think about that you do on a day-to-day basis that like a lot of these kids are really like super compensators and figure out how to get it done. So, like I want to be able to help them.
All right.
Real stuff.
All right. This is gonna go. I like this one so far. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you got another question. Go ahead.
You what? No, well, oh God, I got all kind of questions. I think we can go into the next script question where we talk about actually that's yours, OG. Why don't you go ahead and ask that?
All right. Well, what is it like to have your father be an assistant coach in the NBA?
I get asked this question a lot, and I generally don't have a good answer, but I've been thinking about it. because it's all I know, you know. Like I was born into this. Like I was born into the NBA lifestyle. Like that was I can't have anything to compare it to. But the one thing that I have realized that I've been very privileged with is having access to high level basketball knowledge, and I see people, and I got to see at a young age what it means to be an NBA player and how intense like these guys work and like how much time they put into their bodies, into their food, into their everything, to the point to where I was like, if I really want to play basketball, like this is what I got to do. Like I have to do what they're doing. And that was probably one of the most impactful things. And then I got to meet like a lot of really cool executives. I got to be really into like, you know, my dad would come home and he had this hat. And he'd be like, hey, here's your GM hat when he needed some advice. Like he wanted somebody to bounce an idea off, and he'd be like, hey, put your GM hat on and come inside. Like, what should I do with Anthony Morrow? What should I do with this guy? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, this numbers. It's like, you know, it's like it was like a lot of our bonding came through us through his job, because we had a shared love for it.
So when did it? You said you've been through it your whole life. So when did it actually hit you that your dad had a different job than everybody else's dad?
I can tell you the exact moment. I can tell you the exact moment. I was I like just assumed that like, and when I was like 6 or 7, I kind of just assumed that everybody had their hand in sports. Like I feel like everybody just kind of knew about it. Like cause I was like, no way, like nobody. Because I lived in San Antonio when my dad worked there before. He was the director of pro player personnel there, and I just assumed that everybody knew about the Spurs. Like we're in San Antonio, like whatever. Right. I go to class one day, and there's this girl I like, this little girl I like, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take her to the Spurs game. She's gonna be excited. You're gonna get the Slurpees. We're gonna get everything. I go up to her and I'm like, hey, like, you know, I just moved here. My dad is the pro player personnel at the Spurs. Like, you want to go to the game with me? And she's like, who are the Spurs?
Oh man.
People really don't care about sports. Like some people don't care. Some people don't care. Like some people have no grounds in this. And so I met a lot of people when I moved to San Antonio that just had no idea about sports. And so that really gave me the like wake up call. Like this is not everybody's thing.
Okay.
Man, I can see especially in San Antonio, somebody there not knowing who the Spurs are, you end up with that Swaggy P meme like, yeah. What?
No, it's crazy. Yeah,
what planet are you from?
Yeah. It's a different planet.
So,
oh boy.
Kind of actually I'm gonna ask an addendum to that.
Okay. Who
in all of your time around the league, who is probably, other than your dad, of course, shout out Dale, who is your favorite, like, what was the most meaningful meeting you've had with any, and it could be coach, player, executive, whoever.
Okay.
What was that most meaningful like relationship or meeting that you've had?
So the one that was it's easy. It's an easy call. Is when I was 7 or 8, I had just had my first surgery for my BPI, and I had got an osteotomy, had got a bar put into my arm. And I was kind of down, and I was like, I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't go play with my friends. And I'm sitting in my dad's office, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, I'm kind of sad. Like, I don't know if I want to play anymore. Like, all my friends are getting a lot better than me. I can't really dribble with my right hand. Like, because at that point, I hadn't had shoulder surgery, so I was turned out all the way. So dribbling with my right hand was like impossible. And so he was like, you know what? I'm gonna introduce you to somebody tomorrow. And so the next day, he had me watch a bunch of film on Manu Ginobili. And Manu Ginobili, one thing that's interesting about him is if you watch his film, the ball almost never touches his right hand. Like it almost never does. And he was like, we're gonna watch all this film. He's like, watch this. Like he's doing all these layups, all these tricks, and he gets it all off jumpers. You can play. And I was like, oh man, that's cool. And he's like, I'm gonna have you like come hang out with him. So he introduced me to Manu. Manu showed me his Euro. He showed me his like one hand finishes. And he's like, you don't need to do, he's like, all you gotta do is pat it. Like you don't have to actually like be pounding it all at the court. And Manu showed me that. And honestly, that changed like my trajectory for basketball forever. And then Tony Parker, the same thing. He barely touches his left hand. And he used to show me some tricks too. And those two guys, like they really inspired me to be a basketball player, honestly.
All right. Wow.
Well, it's awesome to hear that humanistic side of those two, because as a Phoenix Suns fan, let me tell you, I could not stand.
He knocked out his nose.
Man, yeah. And on top of all
Laker
that,
fans didn't like him neither, Doc.
Right?
So don't feel bad.
Hold up? Did we finally have common ground over here?
Hey,
shout out. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Ginobili. His play was special. Like, you're right. Now that you mentioned that, and I'm thinking back to some of the plays I've seen him do, you're right. Like, he did that all with his left.
Yeah, like he might do a little pat, like a little crossover maybe, it over. But for the most part, he's in and out left, in and out upright. He's Euro. He's one hand finishes. And like, you know,
smacking bats out of the air the whole bit.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, this official question is kind of in honor of our guy King, who wishes he could have been here, but especially you as a college ball player now, and he has a pretty prolific son. You'll have to check him out on Instagram. His name's Jeremiah Gossett. He's a football player. I mean, he's gonna play some D1 football for sure. He's great. So, what are your thoughts on, like, in college basketball, the one and done kids and just doing a year in college and going to the NBA?
Well, you know, I think anybody who's mad about that isn't really understanding where these players are coming from. And a lot of these players that have the opportunity to do a one and done are trying to take care of their families who have been put through it for helping them play this sport for so long. Like AAU and all these things, they're expensive, and like it's a big investment for a parent to make for their kid. And so to risk an entire year with not getting paid, to get injured, and maybe not even be as highly talented as you were the year before, like, you know, you got to go. Like, if you got to go, you got to go. I think it makes, like, obviously for the college game, I think it makes the college game not as good because the teams don't end up getting as good because they don't have that same type of continuity. But, like, at the end of the day, like, these are kids' lives. So, like, they need to, if they need their money, like, go get your money.
That's what's up. I mean, really. I think it's really that simple.
Yeah.
So if you wasn't in your situation to where you were going, you know, for mechanical engineering, and you had a chance to do a one and done, or try the G League that would pay you, or another league that would pay you, would you still go to college or do one of those?
So, you know, depends on what year, Riley, you ask. If you're asking 2021 Riley, who's already experienced college basketball, I'd probably say I'm gonna just go, or I'm gonna if I can go straight, I'm gonna go straight, or I'm gonna do my one and done. But growing up, like, college basketball was my dream. Like, because I was so in the NBA and so used to that, like, the NBA wasn't as alluring for me. Like, what was alluring was watching Coach March Madness, seeing everybody fill out brackets, all that stuff, and the fans going crazy. Like, the NBA is more of like it's like an elitist sport. It's like you go there, you're going to the game to be seen. Like, the celebrities are going to be seen.
Right.
When you go to a college game, like, people are like die hard for their teams, like going crazy, like whatever. And so I wanted to be a part of that. Like, I wanted to make the school feel like that. But like I go get that money.
Okay. I just wanted to know. So I'm not putting no pressure on you. I just wanted to know. All right. Let's get on a serious note for real. Talk about your message to others that's born with your conditions that might be limited.
What I'll say is, don't listen to doctors. Don't doctors. They're managing expectations, and they don't want to say something that might be wrong. But the best thing to do is to believe in yourself, because there's a way to do everything. And, like, I know everybody that has BPI, they've learned how to compensate, and there's a compensation for everything to me. And, you know, like, for like as little that thing that you do to your shirt is the same type of, like, perseverance you can apply to doing something a lot bigger. And I think at the end of the day, if you're working hard, you might have to work a little bit harder, but, like, those kids, like, they can get it done because they know how to compensate more than a lot of adults that I meet, because they're not used to having, because you know, it teaches you how to figure things out for yourself a lot of times when a lot of kids might not have had to do that. And it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off for them. And so keep doing it. If you want to play sports, go play sports. Don't let nobody tell you can't play basketball. Don't let no doctor tell you can't play football. If you like it, you love it, go do it.
All right.
Yeah, that's really what the message should be. I think, I mentioned it a few times. We've had Travis on this show, even my son, and just for the people to really understand what Riley's talking about, what BPI is. It's brachial plexus injury, brachial plexus palsy, also called Erb's palsy. It's where you're born with a birth injury where the nerve is injured. I think that's probably the best way to say it. You say, Riley, injured, causing partial paralysis, and even in, like Riley said, in his case, he had like complete turn. So it requires a certain level of therapies and surgeries. And, for my guy alone, he's 13. He's had a full-blown shoulder reconstructive surgery. And as my show listeners know, he's recently also had a total tendon and nerve graft done. And that's what these, young warriors are going through. And I know, having known Riley for a while now, he's had his very, very much his fair share of being, under the knife and going through those surgeries. So like he said, these warriors know, they dig in, they compensate better than you really even realize you have to. An example of what Riley's kind of talking about is, so Travis plays corner, right, OG? And he does some things sometimes where the ball is in a place where really he shouldn't be able to get to it, especially with his left arm limitation. But he's so used to like catching a ball that's deep in weird ways that like he'll turn his entire body in a defense and just snatch it with one arm. And these you should see the coaches on the other side. They're like, what do you even do with that?
That's physically impossible.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, some of the things I've seen, like, because when I came to that camp, that was actually like, because this is the thing, is like I had met kids with BPI before, like me, but it was always at these like hospitals and these clinics where like everyone's sad. They just found out they're having another surgery. They just found out they're getting a cast, XYZ. So it's always like never happy. So like when I came to this camp and all these kids are showing me all the ways that they like shoot a bow and arrow or they like throw a rock, like it was good for me too. Like I was like, this is amazing. Like the way that they can like figure out like how to do these like simple things that like are made for people that are like have like regular functioning arms and make it work for them is insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need games from Travis too.
Yeah. They still do the camp?
Yeah, every 2 years. We were recently in New York actually for the most recent one. But I think it was during Riley's actual like class and practice or something like that. And he couldn't come up. But yeah, they do. Matter of fact, Riley, you should know. So there was a basketball camp that Riley and his dad ran at that West Virginia camp. And these warriors are out there just hooping. Travis went ham that day. Like, bro, like he went crazy that day. And in fact, Riley had picked him for his camp MVP that day. So for you to know, Riley, he's actually still got that hat you and your dad autographed. It's above his headboard with that picture of you guys.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That puts a smile on my face, man. That's so cool. No, he was hooping, man. I remember I was watching this kid. I was like, oh, this is like a little me. And he's got that. Well, he's got a little bit of that, like, you done met Trav now, and he's got a little bit of cockiness to him. So he had that whole just drill that dang jumper in your face swag and the whole bit. Yeah, it was. That was a fun camp. So
we will definitely put that description if we can in the description of the show. So if anyone wants to find out more information about the camp or something like that, we'll try to have that in the bottom. Correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll make sure.
Just want to make sure. Yeah, just want to make sure.
So, OG, do you want to ask the last question and I'll do off topic, or do you want me to ask and you do off topic?
You know what? You go ahead and ask the question. I want to do the off topic.
All right, bet. All right. So, for you, that the last actual like official question, how do you approach it? Now, you've already told everybody your long days, right? Pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. How do you approach those days to be successful?
You know, honestly, what's really important to me, and I think is the most important thing, is having things that equalize you throughout your day, that like being able to check in with yourself. And so that's really what gets me through my days. Like, I know, like, I have 3 check-ins every day. I got them in the morning. I'm going to check my breathing. I'm going to do all that, make sure my body feels well, be very aware of how my feet, my legs, my arms are all feeling. I'm going to do it in the middle after practice, and I'm going to do it before I go to sleep. And I just always know, like, I got to make it to that next check-in, and then I'm going to be able to, like, worry about myself. But until then, we got to push through. And then get to the check-in, push through, get to the check-in and push through. And that's really my system like that. Actually, my psychologist is the one who like taught me about that system, because I actually like I struggle with a lot of anxiety. And so like being able to have like those check-ins is like really like revolutionized in my days, like to the point where I always feel like I can get everything done.
Boy,
that's nice.
Not only does he have a busy schedule pre-COVID, but he has a routine. I mean, right now, Riley, I would pay for you to go to some schools and talk to some kids.
Oh yeah,
because
gotta have balance.
Because you have that balance, a sense of you know what work you have to do, you know how to get it done, but yet and still, it hasn't changed your personality to where you're just a zombie or just going through the motions.
No, but I'll say this is like.
I'm sorry.
No, my bad. No, what I'll say this too is that it didn't come quick. Like, I didn't learn how to deal with these days like easily. Like, my freshman year was tough. Like, I was all over the place. I was forgetting to turn work in because I was just everywhere. Like, it was like I had to figure this out. Like, I had to really sit down and be like, I need to actively plan this, because if I don't actively plan how I'm going to do these days, like, they're going to be too hard. I'm going to be out of here in a year, like, academically ineligible. So I was like, I need to sit down. I need to talk to some people and get this actually like ironed out, so I'm not just in my room like, what do I do next? What do I do next?
Yeah. No, but that's good. You see how you said you had to figure it out. Some kids don't ever figure it out. They just, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be, and I'm just going to run it. But that's why I said for you to take time to sell it out, that was very good. All right, let's get to off topic real quick. It's a simple question. Kobe or LeBron, which is the better basketball player?
Oh man, the better basketball player. Right. Basketball player. Keyword basketball player.
Basketball player.
I'm gonna go with LeBron.
All right, thank you for coming. This was a great show. Riley, thank you for coming.
I know it's the wrong answer.
He's like, I've seen the show. I know it's the wrong answer.
I'm trying to feel myself. Why I say this is because Kobe, now, I like the Mamba mentality. I think that there's some revisionist history on Kobe. I grew up with Kobe. Like, Kobe was my favorite player until I was probably like 13 or 14. I saw a lot of Kobe misses. I saw a lot of Kobe bad shots. I saw a lot of that. I don't see bad decisions out of LeBron. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw like 2 consecutive bad decisions out of him. And because, the way he controls the game, it's hard for him not to make the playoffs. And, that Kobe Mamba mentality is like what I've modeled my game off of. Like, that's my guy. But, if I have a franchise and I'm taking 2 guys, like, I'm going to take LeBron.
Okay. I mean, hey, you gotta respect your decision. That don't mean anyone else. That don't mean anyone else will see this show, but we gotta respect your decision.
I'm hoping to having my mind changed, though. I'm hoping having my mind changed.
Well, I think with a question like that, I think the great thing and why we have fun with a question like that is it's hard to go wrong with any answer.
Right. It is. It truly
is. It really has to do with your personal preference on hooping. Do you prefer an ice cold killer? I mean, if that's what you prefer, you're gonna take MJ, Kobe all day. Like, that's because that's your mentality.
Yeah.
But if you just you want the super high basketball IQ guy, you're probably going LeBron or Magic. They always seem to make the right play at the right time, right? So that's why it's fun to ask that question. And I think it also gives us some insight on our guests. You really get a feel for what your mindset is as a ball player, right? You know what I mean? Like, and having I watch clips and we follow each other on the gram. So like I follow your journey and I can see that that's your style of hooping too, is you've like progressed as a baller and trying to make the right play at the right time for your squad is, what you do. So I love it, man. I love the answer.
That's coming from a basketball family. Like my dad's always analytics in my face, like yelling about guys taking ISO shots and this shot is inefficient. Like it all comes back somewhere.
Yeah, for real. All right, what you got, OG?
All right. Well, we would like to thank Riley Demps for coming through, joining us today. All his contact information will be in the bottom, especially available in the show descriptions. Man, Riley, thank you.
No, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Man, very refreshing. Thank you.
You know what's up, man? Hey, as usual, this episode is brought to you by Ms. Daphne Cozy, My Cozy Creations. You can check all her products out actually on our website, and OG will fill you in on that. Next week, we have episode 51. This is actually Riley is our 50th episode, so that's awesome. That's landmark milestone stuff,
Yes, it is. It is.
And then of course next week we'll have episode 51.
Yes, with Mahogany Gaines of the WFLA, Women's Football League Alliance. So that should be very, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. But like Doc said, you want to check us out 24/7 access, go to our website, 4gsports.com. Check out old episodes. Check out merch, shirts. We may get some beanies. We may get some hats. We got some sweatshirts, but whatever you can think of. We even got onesies. So, but whatever you can think of that you want our logo on, we'll try to get it for you and we'll ship it out to you. All right.
That's what's up.
Doc, go ahead and do your sign off, my brother.
Hey, you know what? Before I sign off, I forgot to say what I always say. Share our content, subscribe, hit that bell. That way you know when we're premiering, you know when we're going live.
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate all of you that support us. You know what I mean? Like Riley said, he's even watched us in the past, and just keep sharing the content, man. Even if sometimes you just don't have time to get to watching the episode because we all live busy lives, share. Have your friends, share, and we appreciate you. My shout out, my sign off today. First and foremost, Riley, appreciate you having you on. I've been looking forward to this episode for a long time now. You're killing it. Hopefully Sports Mom don't get mad at me right now when I say I want to have you back at the end of your senior year. I'll get yelled at.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to hear after the end of your senior year and really get a feel for the end of your college time and what's next for you. We'll definitely be following your journey. Shout out to the United Brachial Plexus Network, because that's how I met Riley, and they've been such a support system for my own little warrior. And to your mom and dad, Dell and Anita Demps, you raised an amazing young man, and look forward to having him on again.
All right, Riley, give us your shout out, sir.
Oh, hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for having me. Shout out my mom, shout out my dad. Shout out everybody in New Orleans. Shout out all my bros, everybody, all my family and everybody. Everybody have a good one. Check out NYU basketball if you ever want to go see a game. We got the stream on the website. Go watch it. Go watch it. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. You know what? Before I do my shout outs, why when you do your shout outs to your parents, you always say mom first?
That's a good one.
Poor dad never gets no credit. I mean, he gets it, but it's always hi mom. And then it's what's up, pops? But it's always hi mom.
You can tell that's something to really just cut deep.
That's a deep set drama.
Hey, I'm just asking. My shout outs first and foremost to Riley. Thank you for coming on, my brother. You enlightened me to a lot of things. Also to King, get better.
Yep.
What is it? BPI?
Yes.
Yep, BPI, yep.
That organization, we need to give out more information on that.
Yeah,
to make sure everyone knows if they have someone in their family with that situation, there's always places to turn. If you are a fan of the show and you need support or you're looking for more information, hit the show. We'll put you in contact with Doc. Doc can take you on from that journey from there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And for me personally, I just want to say I never thought doing a sports podcast you would touch so many different subject matters that really mean a lot that I never knew about. So I'm glad that we are doing this to put highlight on a lot of different situations that maybe a lot of people wouldn't even know about. So for that, Doc, I salute you. Riley, I salute you. My 4G family, always salute you. And always, 4Gs, we out of here.